know about plagiarism, class? So when you, upon hearing plagiarism, what comes into your mind?
지금
Yes, JCL, Santiago.
Plagiarism po is copying other people's work without credit.
Okay, so without giving the proper credit. So usually, when students
privacy.
hear the word plagiarism, the usual phrase that comes to their mind is the word copy and paste, correct? Because since we're now, more technologically inclined, okay, so we are when seeking for information, we seek through online, okay, by browsing online, okay, online sites. So usually, when students are asked about plagiarism, the word or the term copy and paste is mentioned, okay. But plagiarism is more than that. Okay, it's more than just copying and borrowing. All right, information. Okay, so next. So according to Merriam-Webster, so plagiarism is, wait class ha, okay. My student, wait, so meaning you are now modular, correct? Moving on, until now I'm chasing my students. All right, so anyways, so according to Merriam-Webster, so plagiarism is to steal and pass off the ideas, words, or works of another person as one's own. Okay, so you're owning the ideas. Okay, to use another person's ideas, words, or works without proper acknowledgement of the source. So you don't cite them, you don't give credits. According to plagiarism.org, plagiarism is forgetting to put quotation marks on phrases quoted directly from a source. It's failing to provide accurate information about the source cited within the text, and changing only a few words but copying the sentence structure. So that's also plagiarism. Okay, just change, just made the synonyms, but the sentence structure is still the same. It's still plagiarism, even if you change the words. Okay. All right. So next, so plagiarism, okay, to put it simply, is an intellectual fraud and an act of academic dishonesty, which students need to avoid at all costs. Okay, so that's plagiarism. So why do students like you need to avoid plagiarism at all costs? So because first, it can result to expulsion or loss of academic degrees. So if you are caught, you will be expelled, okay, and you will lose your academic degree. Plagiarism is easily detected now with the aid of software. So just to share with you, class, in Google Classroom, so whenever we're checking your essays, if you plagiarize your work, it will appear there. It will be flat, and all the phrases that you just copy, okay, and then you just borrow from other sources will be highlighted, okay, just for you to know, okay. So that's why you have to avoid it, or else, of course, you know what will happen. Okay, you'll get a low score if you plagiarize, okay, your work. And of course, the third one is it's punishable by law due to intellectual property rights. Okay, so when we say intellectual property rights, so these provide protection for creations high-end inventions to enable creators and inventors to earn recognition and financial benefit from their work. So since all the sources that you will gather are from, writers, okay, from published works. So that's why it's very important that you cite the source accordingly. Okay, so because you will commit, okay, you will be punished because of the intellectual property rights. So now let's talk about the types of plagiarism. Okay, so the first one is the ghostwriter. So the ghostwriter, it is the one who plagiarizes. So the one who plagiarizes makes the writer non-existing by failing to give due credit to his or her work, hence the name ghostwriter. So the one who commits this type of plagiarism submits another person's entire work without acknowledging the source. Okay, so I remember when I was in college, I think I was second year college. We had a professor in psychology. So she was our professor in psychology back then. And then um, she was requiring us to buy a manual. She said, "You have to buy this manual for our class." Okay? I won't forget this. And so it's like she's insisting that everyone should buy the manual. So our class, so we had a meeting and we've talked about maybe two for one manual, two can share. Okay, and then so the next day we informed her about our plan that two students will share for one manual because it's pricey. It costs like maybe 500, yeah, less than 1K, that manual. And so some of my students, they bought the manual, but some didn't. Okay, so we just decided to just borrow our classmates manual and just photocopy it, okay, for us to have our own notes because we don't have money at that time, so we need to do something in order for us to have an access to that manual. And some of our classmates, they just copy, okay, and take notes of the important information. When this professor learned about this, she got really mad, okay, and she said that we are committing plagiarism. Okay. Little did she know, we upon browsing the manuals, it's just a compilation of others' work. Okay, she didn't cite it. It's like compilation of different kinds of information from other books, from other sites. Okay, even notes. Okay, that she had, I think when she was like a student before, and she just compiled it. Okay, and she claimed that um, the money that if students will buy this book, then she will get the money. Okay, so this manual, the manuals were printed outside the university. So the org didn't know about the existence of the manual. So we reported it to our advisor. Okay, and we signed the academe investigated, all right, and then we signed, all the students signed, okay, under her class we signed that, and we claimed that she was insisting that we need to buy the said manual. And after the investigation, okay, this professor was out. Okay, so she lost her job after that. Okay, so that's how serious plagiarism is. Okay, so there. So the ghost writer. So again, when you commit this type of plagiarism, okay, you submit another person's entire work without acknowledging the source. All right, so the professor that I told you, so she's a ghostwriter. Okay, so she just compiled everything and made them into a manual and sell them. Okay, which is a no-no. All right, it's forbidden. Okay, so next, the potluck paper. So the potluck paper appears to be a collage of ideas taken from various sources with very minimal or insignificant changes in the wording and sentence structure. It's like this. You look for different kinds of sources, so the article is like related to each other, and then you just copy like phrases, one phrases from the other, and then you just combine them together. Okay, so that's padlock paper. Next, the poor disguise. Okay, so it's the writer has retained the major content of a single source and only slightly changed keywords and phrases. Okay, this is the poor disguise. Okay, just change keywords and phrases, but the sentence structure, the major content is the same. Okay, next. Wait a minute. Please understand if. Okay, on. So we're done with the poor disguise. Now, the self stealer. So, what is a self stealer? So, the self stealer, the writer here leaves the major parts and ideas from his or her previous work and turns it in as a new requirement for a new course or degree. Okay, so it means you use or you reuse, okay, the output that you uh, submitted before. Okay. Oh, question now. Is it considered plagiarism since I just used my original work? Okay. Yes. Why? Because by reusing a previous work, you claim that your output is entirely original, okay, which undermines academic integrity. Say new research, because new research should contain new information and discoveries. Okay? Next, it's also considered plagiarism because you will deal with copyright infringement, especially if that work has been published. Okay? Or you submitted that work, that output to a previous subject or course. So you still commit plagiarism and um, you can face expulsion or loss of academic degree. All right? You understand? And of course, since the related literature that you use from that previous work owns by different authors and writers, okay? So if you reuse that work again, even if you are the author, since you all the information that you gathered are from different sources, okay, you still commit plagiarism because you need to cite them properly. Okay, you understand? So is it clear that self-stealer is still plagiarism? So even if you you use your original work or your previous work, okay, it's still plagiarism. Okay, question? Okay, next. The forgotten footnote. So the forgotten footnote here, the writer cites the author's name but fails to include pertinent information on the location of the reference material. Okay, so you forgot to cite the location of the reference material. Next, the perfect paraphrase. So here, the writer cites a source properly with the date of publication and even the page number or paragraph number where it appears, but skills to put quotation marks to mark ideas or phrases lifted word for word. So remember, class, if you're going to use a certain phrase, all right, or a certain sentence from the source, you have to put quotation marks. Okay? Understood? All right. Next, the resourceful citer. So the writer cites all sources, paraphrases, and summarizes ideas and uses direct quotes correctly. But the output contains almost no original idea or insights. Okay, so that's why when writing a paper, an academic paper, it's just let's say it 70% is from your own ideas and thoughts, and just 30 is from other sources. Okay, 30% is the supporting evidences, supporting details from the sources, from the information that you gathered. Okay, so make sure that you input your own ideas, okay, your thoughts in the academic paper. So, question. Okay. So, how do we avoid plagiarism? Okay, so, ways to avoid plagiarism. So, the first one is
Acknowledge
acknowledge
sources.
sources. So,
Cite the
cite the
name
name of
of
the
the
author
author
or
or
authors
authors
and
and
the
the
year
year
of
of
publication.
publication.
For example,
Example,
Santos
Santos
2016
2016.
to give
Give credit
credit
to the
to the
original.
original source. For this, okay, so next is know the various citation styles. So when citing the sources, you have to be aware of the citation styles. Okay, so we have the APA style, so this one is common. So American Psychological Association, so this one is commonly used in the social sciences field, including law and business, widely used in some scientific papers, journals, and publication. So you may visit because there's an updated APA style. Okay, it's seventh edition. They're in seventh edition now. So just visit the apastyle.org to access the complete resource for writing and publishing on the APA style 7th edition. So this one is the common type, the APA. So we also use the APA in literature, yeah, social science, uh, including law and business. So next, the MLA style, or the Modern Language Association. So it's widely adopted in the humanities, okay, HUMs, which include philosophy, fine arts, languages, and literature. Okay, so we use the MLA. So for the updated version, or edition, so kindly visit the style.mla.org. So they're in ninth edition now. And then the third one is the Chicago Manual of Style. So this one is the oldest. Okay, so it gives recommendations on editorial style, so rules of grammar and punctuation, and publishing practices for the digital age. So it's commonly used in the humanities. So for the updated version, and complete for complete online resource, so kindly visit Chicago Manual of Style.org. All right, next. Third is you have to develop effective study habits. Okay, so effective study habits rather, is very important. Okay, so because when students are like cramped, like when you have like lots of things to do, okay, so the tendency is you cram and you just, you don't really put all the hard work. So the tendency is, okay, I'll just gather information from this source, and then I'll just change few wordings and phrases, and I'll just submit it. Okay, so that's why it's very important that you have to have the study habits, the effective study habits. Okay, you have to, like, let's say, schedule. Okay, or this coming Tuesday I will do this assignment. This coming Wednesday I will do this homework. On this on Thursday I'll do this task. Okay, so we understand that you have lots of things to do. Okay, but uh, it's not valid that because you have lots of things to do, you will just submit, you know, just well, you will just submit just a paper that is not really good. Okay, so you can do better. We know that. So in order for you to produce, create effective and better outputs, make schedule. Okay, at home. Anyway, you're at home, so you have all the time. Okay, so you can do it. And then number four is use note taking strategies. For the note taking, so we have four. So the first one is the direct quoting. So putting a relevant phrase in quotation marks to signify that it has been lifted word for word from the original source. Okay, for example, this one, let's say, according to the International Monetary
February
Fund
4, 2017.
2017,
The
the benefits
benefits of
of
faster
faster growth
growth
have
have yet
yet to
to be
be disseminated
disseminated.
to the broader
Employment,
population,
population,
and unemployment
employment,
and
and
poverty
poverty remain
remain excessively
excessively
elevated.
elevated.
So, see the word or the phrase excessively elevated, there's quotation marks. So, it means you lifted word from word. So children are very susceptible to pollutants because they breathe in more air per pound of body weight
Than
than adults.
adults.
So Maestrado 2013. Next, so paraphrasing. So in paraphrasing, so this one is process of interpreting another writer's ideas and words and stating them in your own words by changing significantly the word order and the sentences structure of the original. Okay? So because sometimes we are like lazy and timid to read the text, correct? So what we do is we just read, we just look for the key points, even if we really don't understand the text. So that is wrong. That is not the good way of paraphrasing. So how do we paraphrase? So here are the steps toward effective paraphrasing. Okay, so first is you have to understand the original passage thoroughly, read the whole text. Okay, you have to read the text and then make sure that you understand everything. Write your own understanding. So after you read the text, write your own understanding of the passage on a separate paper. So how did you understand it? Based on your own understanding. So you scribble, you jot down notes, you write it on a separate paper. Then read your initial version and check whether you have significantly changed the word order and sentence structure. Revise your initial paraphrase by recalling the features of academic and professional writing. Use quotation marks to identify ideas or phrases lifted directly from the source. And read the revised paraphrase and check the original to check whether the idea or thought is retained. Understand? Okay. So again, read the text first. After you read the whole passage or the text, write what you understood from the text. Okay, and from there, you will start now creating your own paragraph. Okay, so for letter C, okay, the third one for the note taking strategy. So summarizing. So understanding a text and restating it in a much shorter form using one's own words and interpretation. So you summarize. So make sure that it is
Memory.
shorter than the original one. Okay, so use your own words and your own interpretation about the passage. And then the third one is the outlining. So it's a process of creating a framework for writing. So if you can't paraphrase, or if you can still summarize, you outline. Okay, so make an outline, make a framework, all right, wherein you just write down the key points. Then from there, you can make your own paragraph. Question? You have any question about the discussion today? So remember, give credit where credit is due. Okay? Yeah. I'm expecting not to see any plagiarized work class. Okay? Because if, for example, you committed, there's no second chance. I won't be giving you second chance. Alright? Understood? Okay. No question? Alright, so for this for your activity this week, so you just have to look for the different citation styles. Okay, just give 3 examples for each. And then I will give you a short passage. Then you have to paraphrase it. Okay? Mhm. So, submission. Um, can you do it until Friday? If you can't, weekend. Just 2 days extension, huh? Okay, and then this coming Thursday, by the way, this Thursday, so we have a short quiz. So kindly review about reading and researching across discipline and academic writing and style. So maybe 15 items. I'll give you 15 item quiz. It's live. Is it live? No, it's not live. So I won't also close the quiz, so that if ever you don't have time on Thursday, you can still have an access on the quiz. Okay? Question? All right, so if there's no question, I'll let you go. Just kindly wait for the activity. I will post it later. Bye, class. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Bye po.
Thank you po.
Goodbye po.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
po.
Hi, ma'am.
Thank you po.